brings you to see Uncle Krusty?
Krusty, are you broke?
Yeah, all it takes is some bad luck at the ponies, worse luck in the Bitcoin market.
New to the Oxford Dictionary, 1600.
A digital currency in which transactions can be performed without the need for a central bank. Woody.
What is a Bitcoin?
Yes.
Oxford Dictionary is for 2000.
Technically, everyone's still the same place in relation to each other.
These points are like Bitcoins.
No, they're not, because your points aren't going to go down suddenly.
Powering down for duration of boring comedy explanation.
Boy, if I had a Bitcoin for every time I've heard that before. All right, well.
It's untraceable, like you asked.
How? Explain.
I used a Ripple exchange to have the fiat currency converted to eCash and then into Bitcoin. I ran the whole transaction through a randomized cryptographic extension at the protocol level, then through a two-tier secure laundry service I know I can trust. No one's gonna catch you. I promise.
Bitcoin, totally untraceable.
While dollar bills are traded through a bank, Bitcoin is traded peer-to-peer.
See, Mom? Pretty colors. Fun, right?
Thanks, Zach. So, you don't buy Bitcoin?
No, you can. There are currency traders online.
Yeah, one Bitcoin's worth $3.
It used to be $33. People were hoarding.
But that's not how it gets into circulation. You mine it, like gold. The guy who invented it created this program that releases blocks of Bitcoin over time.
The deep web, I've heard of that.
Oh, yeah, no, 96% of the internet isn't accessible through standard search engines. Most of it's useless, but it's where you go to find anything and everything. Child porn, Bitcoin laundering, mail-order narcotics, hackers for hire.
How do you access it?
It's actually pretty easy. I can show you if you want.
You know, in Haitian voodoo, Papa Legba is the gatekeeper at the crossroads between life and death.
Yeah, well, I think Bell figured out Papa Legba's real identity. So why didn't you turn him in? Blackmail. He wanted $500,000 in Bitcoins to keep Papa Legba's identity a secret.
Okay. Who do you want to see in a casket first? Your wife or your kids?
You leave them out of this.
Now it's 2 million. You say another word and it's 4. Same drill, wire the money, convert it to Bitcoins.
Forget Bitcoins. I want a face-to-face.
I created a business model from my bedroom that revolutionized an international market and cut violence in the drug trade by half. You're welcome.
Yeah, people are just lining up to thank you.
It's okay. I have a plan. Okay, I have $100 million in Bitcoins. You get me off this plane and past Interpol in one piece, I'll split it with you.
Can communicate with everybody who voted?
Yeah, I could do that. It should take about 2 minutes. Just PayPal me some Bitcoins when you get a chance.
Give me the pros first for central banking getting into cryptocurrency of some kind.
At one level, it's going to mean that central banks remain in the game. If you look at certain economies like Sweden, where the use of cash is very fast disappearing, central banks may have very little role to play both in terms of wholesale as well as retail payment systems. So this would keep central banks in the business of creating money, although most money in modern economies is really created by commercial rather than central banks. In addition, having a central bank digital currency would put a crimp on illegal activity that is intermediated to cash, bring a lot more activities into the tax net, and it would also make monetary policy at one level somewhat easier to implement. If we all had deposit accounts with the Federal Reserve, which would be one way of having electronic money, the Fed would be able to impose negative nominal interest rates, which it couldn't do during the financial crisis. So there is a lot to be said for having a central bank digital currency, although as you're suggesting, there are some negatives as well.
Here, this one talks about the coronavirus stimulus offered by the House Financing Service Committee creates the new digital dollar. And this is quite interesting because, you know, I've been talking about this for a while, that he shall cause all, small and great, to receive a mark either in their hand or their forehead, that they may not buy nor sell, save that they have the mark of the beast.
Is that through the Federal Reserve System, the bankers have pretty much taken control of our government. It doesn't matter Republican and Democrat anymore, because they're both the same. Neither one of them are talking about shutting down the Federal Reserve System or stopping the payment of taxes. You know, or any of the big issues that face Americans.
The U.S. is on track, guys. So according to the draft, the digital dollar will be a dollar balances consisting of digital ledger entries recorded as liabilities in the accounts of any Federal Reserve bank. The bill even notes that such wallets should be branded as Fed accounts. Guys, it's coming together. Every government and central bank will be building their central bank digital currencies. I think the U.S. wants to beat China on this because there's political and economic reasons. Obviously, the U.S. dollar being, the reserve currency, they don't want to lose that power, right? So there is a power battle here. So think about that. And crypto, this is going to build more interoperability for crypto. It's going to get people to understand, hey, money can be digital, because there's still naysayers who think crypto is a scam, a Ponzi scheme, fake internet money, right? There's still people, the masses, who think that. They don't understand. But if the government puts out the narrative and the education saying, hey, guess what? You can have the dollar in a tokenized version in an app or whatever it may be, that opens up their minds and understanding to cryptocurrencies.
And the whole agenda is to create a one world government where everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. All money is to be in those chips, right? There'll be no more cash. And this is giving me straight from Rockefeller himself. This is what they want to accomplish. And all money will be in your chips. And so instead of having cash, anytime you have money in your chip, they can take out whatever they want to take out whenever they want to.
There's a natural overlap between body hackers and the blockchain movement. And here at Body Hacks 2019, a 2-day conference in Austin, Texas, I'm planning on joining these couple hundred people who can officially call themselves cyborgs by getting something implanted too.
So I've just watched a bunch of videos about getting implants, namely the magnets under the fingers, and they use a scalpel, and there's a lot of blood, so that was a little bit much.
For me though, it'll be much less gruesome. I'm just getting an NFC-enabled microchip implant. It's housed in glass, about the size of a grain of rice, and so it fits inside a hollow 14-gauge needle. The needle goes in, the implant gets pumped out, the needle comes back out. It hurts about as much as giving blood or getting a piercing, and it gets injected most often between the thumb and index finger. And it's secured by this blockchain. That's the implanter's joke. Some attendees had programmed their chips to open RFID safes and doors, unlock their phones, and send their contact information to other phones, and some had even hacked their way into creating an authorization for accessing their Bitcoin holdings. That last use case, that's what I'm looking for. So on the last day of the conference, I sat down and a minute later excitedly exclaimed, "I'm a cyborg."
Thank you for your cooperation.
The implant I got, the VivoKey Spark, currently allows users to send an NFC-enabled phone to their profile page or to whatever website they choose. For the test, and to shamelessly promote my content, I set the implant to send a phone to the Bitcoin at 10 website.
It did in fact take me to Bitcoin at 10.
Can I try?
Yes. Now we'll try with another person's phone.
Wow.
Cool, huh?
Next, I set it to take my phone to my Receive Bitcoin QR code, making it easy for people out and about to scan that code and tip me some crypto.
$2?
I guess, if that's all you're willing to give me, cheapskate.
And in a week or so, VivoKey will be launching a new API that will allow users to program the chip to act as an authenticator key. With this, I should be able to request that every time I want to send or transfer Bitcoin out of an open source wallet, it'll ask me to scan the chip to validate that transaction. And that way, the chip will act as a unique security measure that might make my hand as valuable as Clean Eyes in Minority Report.
But seriously, don't take my hand. I don't have that much crypto.
You can't buy food. You can't do anything. It's total control of the people.
And that chip's connected to a database that has your purchasing records, what you do, what
Everything.
you sell.
Everything is in there, you know? And so they want a one world government controlled by them, everybody being chipped, all your money in those chips, and they control the chips and they control people. And you become a slave. You become a serf to these people. That's their goal.
Yeah, let's get to the negatives. So outline what the risks, some of them are obvious, but outline what some of the risks.
So one of the issues is that I could no longer buy you a cup of coffee without either a private agent or the government knowing about it. And there is certainly a question about whether we should have at least some privacy in our financial dealings without the government, without private parties being able to see them. There is also the potential for some degree of instability. If you do have central banks issuing currencies, it could take commercial banks out of the game in terms of retail payments, and commercial banks are still very important in terms of modern financial systems. So it could create some degree of instability, and we still don't know how it's going to work if you were to have a digital currency, how that would work in terms of the transmission and indeed implementation of monetary policy. It's easy to think about how it would all work much more efficiently, but there are potential bottlenecks that could be created. Then, of course, there is a big risk of hacking. We've seen even very secure systems come to be vulnerable to hacking, and the same could be true of central bank digital currency.
There's a need for a utility type service that lets you move money when you want to pay someone else, pay a store, so that you can pay a store no matter if they use the same bank as you do. You can pay your relative in the rural areas no matter if you use a different bank, or if you want to switch your account from bank 1 to bank 2. And so a lot of our work to get this low-cost digital debit card using the cell phone going is making sure the regulator has set up the right safeguards, and that includes a money transfer system that has very low fees that lets, and insisting that every bank that's licensed connect up and have these reasonable fees. It's kind of like phone number portability is in the mobile space, that you can switch a carrier and not have to change that phone number. And so that's why the foundation's role in working with these regulators and taking lessons from different countries will help get this into the most pro-poor form we can.
So let me ask you, because there's another answer to this question. So you're talking about relying on regulatory infrastructure and banks participating, but there are many, many investors and smart people out there who will tell you that the answer to these questions is Bitcoin. So what do you think about Bitcoin as a solution to these problems?
Well, the effort to make sure your Bitcoin provider isn't going to lose your money and your understanding of the volatility of Bitcoin, I'd hardly say that's ready for poor people to have it.
We need to wake up and ask ourselves, what kind of America do we want? I mean, what are we looking at? What kind of future are we going to see? What are we going to see 10 years from now? I mean, we see the popularity among youth, among the younger generation of Bitcoin, Ethereum, all different types of cryptocurrencies. Literally, we're going to exist in a society in which money is digital. Cash no longer exists. It has fallen out of favor. All of these central banks, they are foaming at the mouth with excitement right now. They are in separate rooms, all of them, in a race, trying to beat one another, to come up with a brand new kind of token, coin, whatever they're going to call it, in order to present it to the people as the savior, the knight in shining armor. We're going to live in a country. Not only will our money be digital, not only completely dominated by what they call cryptocurrencies, they might come up with a new name by then, but once the cash is eliminated, we're going to be under strict controls over what you buy, over where you go.
Each blockchain phone comes with its own integrated cryptocurrency smart card connected to the phone's digital wallet. Global charities, ultra-high net worth individuals, members of the public, Fortune 500 companies, governments and corporations can bulk buy sovereign skybox sets and help distribute them to people in need in the world's poorest and remotest part. The modems talk to the phones through their custom-built operating system, and the phone's Instagram-style app and digital wallet connects to each device's cryptocurrency smart card. Once the cryptocurrency collects in the phone's digital wallet, the person in need, hospital or village can then buy medicine, clothes, food or water using their smart card, or send the digital money to anyone who has the Ruon app installed in areas. Each phone will be able to feed an entire village for years on end. Each year, $800 billion is donated to charitable organizations with little effect on extreme global poverty. Up to 97% of sovereign aid donations will go straight to the person in need and will be one of the most efficient donation processes to date. For the first time, donors will know exactly who they are donating to. Large corporations and individuals will use Ruon's Instagram-style profile pages to search for villages, hospitals, charities, and where and who they want to donate money to. Donors can now track how their donations are spent through the Ruon blockchain smart card accounting technology. Donors can see the positive impact their donations have made with photos and thank you videos.
John with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. I have a dream that all men are created
Sueño hemos estado haciendo cambios políticos.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Everyone's going to have to chip in. That's only fair. That's the principle I'll be fighting for during the next phase of this process. And in the coming months, I'll continue also to fight for what the American people care most about.
So this is clearly the British crown. This is a British coin, you guys. This is from 1931, okay? There's also another coin here, 1930. So it's almost as if someone dropped the coin and they're trying to cover it with their foot so that you don't know that they're about to pick it up, type of thing, I think is the interpretation. So the coming days we'll see. But the purpose of this video is just to really clarify that this is a British coin, and this goes to the multiple levels of interpretation of I Pet Goat and the multiple levels of resolutions that are achieved in this animation. And because it is an animation, nothing happens by accident.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society.
And giving it back to you, the people.
And we give it back to you, the people.
We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, secret oaths, and to secret proceedings.
We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that.
We declare our right on this earth to be a man, to be a human being, to be respected as a human being, to be given the right as a human being in this society, on this earth, in this day, what we intend to bring into existence by any means necessary.
One thing we can all agree on is the need to support the great work that comes out of the dinner. Millions of dollars have been raised to support disadvantaged children, and I applaud the many people who have worked to make this wonderful event a critical lifeline for children in need. And that we together broke the all-time record tonight is really something special. More than 6 million net. The Cardinal told me that's net, Donald, remember. We can also agree on the need to stand up to anti-Catholic bias.
Something else. That is the major feature behind the Pope that features inside the audience hall, namely this. Have you seen this before? I'd never seen it before myself and felt like I had entered the realm of the Mandela effect once again, on overload this time, since this is the most ominous thing I've ever seen in a while. This artwork was placed within the hall in 1977, as history states, and depicts, according to the Vatican, the resurrection of Christ emerging from a nuclear apocalypse. Now think to yourself for a moment. The audience hall is a reinforced concrete bunker, and the depiction of Christ shares the same connections with Christ himself rising from an atomic apocalypse. Not only that, but many people have said this is the most unchristian thing they have ever seen in a long time, even a number of Catholics I've talked to. For it looks like Christ's head is in fact missing, at least half of it. A number of Catholics don't even remember even seeing this before or looking at it, but it's been in the hall since, at least according to history, since 1977. The structure seems to have entered at least the internet's consciousness around 2012. I could find a couple of examples before that, but most seem to be post 2012, and there doesn't seem to be any pictures of it from the front. All seem to be taken from the side. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that because I found it really disturbing.
Do you not think an angel rides in the whirlwind and directs this storm? This work continues. The story goes on. And an angel still rides in the whirlwind and directs this storm. God bless you all. And God bless America.
Get ready to read all these words on this page without making a mistake. Look at the letter at the end and remember the sound it makes. Get ready. Kite. Yes, kite. Get ready to read this word the fast way. Get ready. Kid. Yes, kid. Sound it out. Get ready. Kid. Sound it out. Get ready. Kid. What word? Kid. Yes, kid. Boys and girls, sound this word out. Get ready. What word? Steal. Yes, steal. Read these words the fast way. Get ready. Play. Yes, play. Get ready. Must. Yes, must. Let's read these words the fast way without making a mistake. Get ready. Kite. Yes, kite. Get ready. Kick. Yes, kick. Get ready. Steal. Yes, steal. Get ready. Play. Yes, play. Get ready. Must. Yes, must. Open your book up to lesson 60 on page 150.
Something that we'll never forget. I think most of us can even remember where we were when we found out about what happened and what was going on. I'm sure it doesn't surprise most that are in the truth-seeking community in this time that 9/11 was a satanic ritual. Coming to that conclusion from many different angles, from many different ways, all leading to the same truth, that it was in fact representing the birthing of the new age of Antichrist, the ripping the veil, the bringing in of the beast police state system, and all manner of things, but also a blood sacrifice ritual into the wine press, Samson pushing down the two pillars. But this all correlates to what we've been looking into in the last video, what we've been looking into in regards to the cube behind the veil. It all links in together, and in this video we're going to have a look again through Solomon's temple, Herod's temple, how this all correlates to Jesus Christ when he died and rose again, and the veil was ripped in that temple to reveal the cornerstone that was behind the veil. And this all links together with 9/11 and many different things. So let's have a look at this. So 9/11 2001, IXXI, many believe, or some believe, that Jesus himself was born on 9/11 3 BC, which is pretty interesting because 9/11 2001 is an inversion of that 9/11 2001 3 AD. But this event, this horrific event that happened on 9/11 2001, we've discussed this before in terms of the two pillars, like Samson pushing down the two pillars, north and south, plus and minus, just like the pillars in Freemasonry, Yashin and Boaz, plus and minus. So the male and female, the parents, and just like that Samson figure pushing it down in the Bible. And then you've got the child here, which in terms of what we're looking at the moment, as I say, there's many different ways of understanding the nature of this satanic ritual, because there's many different paths and roads that lead to the same conclusion. But the World Trade Center 7 representing that cornerstone. Now remember, Jesus Christ is our true cornerstone, and this all involves inverting. It's to do with the Antichrist. They're trying to bring in, they're trying to open the pit, they're trying to bring in the Antichrist.
A copy of the truth, of the true Messiah, but this is the inverted, the false one. So there's always parallels and mirrors to the real truth. It's just that this goes back to Egypt, Babylon, and there's always been usurping authority, as I said, usurping authority from the real legitimate Messiah, the real legitimate truth that we can read in the New Testament. This is how they are doing it, and always have done it. This is the plan all along. The fallen plan, the kingdom of darkness, our enemy, to usurp and trick and mirror and copy, to mislead people. Look, pillars and archways, all the same designs as the other places, and she's sitting on a foundation stone there behind these pillars where the veil would be, like in the Holy of Holies again. Same representation. The Mother Goddess, Semiramis, Diana and Child, the false Mary. Oh my goodness. And once again, you see IXXI, which is Roman numerals for 9/11, on the cup. The Frankists and other secret societies, there is this belief that they need to fill up this cup of sin, make people turn to bad, which you can see happening, in order to provoke their Christ to come, which they think is the real Christ. But that's their belief. They believe they need to fill up this cup of filth, this cup of abomination, as we're told about in the Bible, that will happen. The cup of abominations, that will bring judgment upon the world. But they believe that they're going to get this Christ who's going to come. But we know it's the Antichrist. It's Nimrod from the days of the Tower of Babel. And this cup of abominations. Mate. You know, even I've heard Catholics say that this Pope is very different from any other. The way he's uniting religions and one world, ecumenical, new world order. You know, the Jezebel spirit usurps authority where it has none. I was thinking about this the other day. The Jezebel spirit usurps authority where it has none. And this is kind of the way this new ecumenical religion, Babylonian New Age religion is working. Usurping authority over where it has none. See, look, even here it's saying to receive the scroll and to break open its seals. Oh my goodness, I didn't even realise this was here. I used this picture in a video the other day. That is Apollyon the Destroyer. Mars, the Roman god of war. And we've got that same representation of the Holy of Holies type thing. And him raising out of it Apollyon the Destroyer. The Antichrist. That is not Jesus. I don't think it takes much to work out that that's not Jesus.
Our coverage this morning of Pope Francis in America with Nora at the White House. Nora?
Thank you, Gail. You know, Pope Francis is also going to celebrate his first Mass in the United States, and that is at the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception. Now, he is the third Pope to visit the Basilica that is on the Catholic University of America campus. And Chip Reed is there to show us what to expect this afternoon. Chip, good morning.
Well, good morning. You know, around here, most people simply call it the Shrine, and it is a beautiful building. It is the largest Roman Catholic church in America. In fact, they're expecting about 25,000 people here this afternoon to see and hear the Pope celebrate Mass.
This is the moment Japan's nuclear disaster began. A giant tsunami wave crashes into the Fukushima Daiichi power plant.
calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
But a bright line in the sand, and we will protect you, that I can tell you, and we will say enough is enough.
You will never see it coming. You think I'm joking?
And fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever.